Hello YouTube, Luigi here. Today we're going to do an unboxing. MAXPEDITION. This is MAXPEDITION's second foray into knife making. The MAXPEDITION EXCELSA frame lock knife made in Taiwan. This is the large. They come in two sizes. And here you see it. She's a beaut. Comes in this nicely fitted case with tools. Okay. We're going to walk around the outside before we open it up, as we always do. We have a titanium frame lock. It has a closed length of 4 3/4 inches. Now let's take a look at this presentation side. All the hardware are these domed buttons. All the mechanism, whether it's a torque or a flathead or a Phillips or an Allen, is on the back side, is on the working side, making for a very clean, very slick presentation side. This very wide chamfer only appears on the grip side. It's rounded everywhere else nicely. It's nicely radiused. I'm not saying there's hot spots elsewhere, but the big chamfer within which your hand just melts is on the grip side. The frame side doesn't have it. Doesn't have it at all. It has a thumb stud, which has an angle on it. And some complain about this angle, and I just don't understand the complaints, because I think it's in the perfect orientation. You have to understand that the pivot follows the circle. The thumb stud follows a circle described by the pivot. So if you're trying to push it out, that's going to work against you. But if you push it along the arc of the travel path of that circle, you can't miss. And I think they've got the angle of this just perfect. I think they knew what they were doing. Brand new knife. It's kind of stiff. But you can see I'm not having any trouble flicking that out, because I think that angle is right on. Spot on, as they say. This thumb stud, curiously enough, is removable. Why? In case you're left-handed, I guess. But in addition to being removable, does that mean it is rotatable for people who prefer another angle? And one review said no, it's not, because it keys into a D-shaped cam, and therefore it is not rotatable, but it is reversible. We have a lanyard hole, not a lanyard tube, open pillar construction. You can see the relief cut for the frame lock. The frame bar is pretty beefy, and the lockup is about, could be as much as 25 to 30%. This, I don't know if I can show it to you, but this has a clever over travel stop bar in there somewhere. The back, the inside end of the frame bar clips underneath the frame. There, you can see it there. So you cannot over push this when you're disengaging that lock bar. Concealed, totally concealed. You can see it under this harsh light there. Now on the back side, come on, I want better focus. There, on the back side it says MAXPEDITION. Only on the back side. There's no gunked up graphics on the blade. It's here, it's very subtle. I can live with that. I can live with that. The blade, let's take a look at this blade. We have a 3 5/8, 3.625, full flat ground, satin finish, spear drop point. I think it's a good looking blade. I think it's a good looking blade. Complements the handle design really, really well. You don't see any gunk on the blade. I like when they not turn the blade into a billboard. It's the MAXPEDITION EXCELSA Large. That's all you need to know. Their second foray into knife making. The first one was the MAXPEDITION Ferox. This is a D2 blade, by the way. I gave you the length, I gave you the flat ground and the shape, the drop point. We have an open length of 8 3/8 inches long. It's not shy, but for all that size, it's only a 5.25, 5¼ ounce weight. And I think that's the titanium scales bringing that weight down. Bringing the weight down. It has no jimping. It has a lanyard hole. And it's not an inexpensive knife. Now, one of the things I want you to notice is the rounded spine of the blade. More and more knives are doing this. Where did it first start? Probably the Chris Reeves Benza. And then I saw it on the Ken Onion Swindle. Then I saw it on the Ken Onion Leak. And then we see it here. I think you're going to see more and more of this. Unless you're into a bushcraft knife where you're going to strike magnesium fire sticks, I really like the look of that rounded spine. I think there's something dressy about it. And you know, for all the beefiness and strength of this knife, I would have no trouble calling it hard use EDC. It also has a kind of gentlemanly quality about it. So that's a really interesting balance to strike. A hard use EDC with a lot of strength and a gentlemanly appearance. The smaller size, to tell you the truth, is probably more gentlemanly than this larger size. Okay, everybody. We have a really, really nice knife here. The feel is, because of this broad chamfering here, the feel, it just melts into your hand. Did I say there's no jimping? Well, there's some jimping, but it's just that it's so worthless that I probably didn't think it worth mentioning. It does have jimping on a bit of a raised ramp. And I'm just not saying it's real effective. It's something, so it's something, but it's not the greatest stuff in the world. The centering we didn't look at. The centering. Well, wow. If that's not perfect, it's within 1%. That's really good. So I got good looks, good feel, great steel, fast deployment, great centering, solid lockup, reversible clip. It comes tipped down, right side. You see these pockets here, these little indent grooves? I love to see that because that, when the clip is seated in such a groove, it tends to lock itself in and doesn't rock left to right that way. It's just a more solid installation. I like to see that. I like to see that. I don't know why it comes tipped down when they could have easily have made it come tip up, knowing the overwhelming preference for a tip up. Okay, people, nice knife. Good feel. Really good feel. I wish I were this excited about their first knife, the Ferox, but I wasn't. And you can see my review on that if you want. All right, people, God bless you. Take good care and stay safe out there. Bye-bye.